Well, hey everybody, Backyard Scrapping here, and we're going to continue on with this oddball scrapping stuff. I actually wanted to do this because, like I said, this thing looks really good, and I mean, you know, on screen and pictures, it looks really good. Looks like it would be a quality camera, but this thing weighs nothing. I mean, there is nothing to it. I know it doesn't have to have any weight to it anymore, you know, to be something good, because they've managed to make things smaller and smaller. But you would think this thing would weigh something, and it weighs 119 grams. I mean, there's literally nothing to it. It looks like it's high-grade metal and, you know, and everything else, and it's actually, like I said, just a piece of junk. The first time I tried to record anything with it, the only place you could play it back was here. The video formats, there were several different formats or screen sizes it was supposed to work in. It didn't work in but one of them, and even then your player had to repair the video in order to play it on a computer. So anyhow, I want to see just what's in here, because like I said, it's light as a feather. So I'm going to go ahead and start taking this thing apart, and let's see what makes it tick in here and what's going on. So we'll get back at you in just a bit. I'll probably speed this up so you don't have to go through the boring part of watching me turn screws. So we'll be back at you in just a second. Okay guys, we got all the screws out of it, which there was seemed to be a ton of them. Maybe they should have spent a little less money on screws and a little more money on making this thing worth using. I can see right off the bat the battery connectors right here are gold plated. So I'm just going to start pulling and tugging on this thing. Like I said, I think we got all of the screws off. So there's some scrap metal, some plastic for there. I'm going to just start opening this thing up and see what we got. There's more cheap plastic. Like I said, it really looks good, but it's absolutely worthless. We have a little ribbon cable here, so let's see if it happens to be gold plated or not. And it is not. It's nickel, and this board connector is not plated. We got some more screws here, so let me take them out. Okay, so this is obviously our LCD. I'm not seeing any gold anywhere on this board, or there's one MLCC right there, a little teeny one. I'm sure there's another little teeny resistor here. Odds have it that's magnetic. I'm not even going to fool with it. So this is nothing. There's no gold here, no gold here. So this is, to me, as far as I'm concerned, it's junk. I will throw this over here because I have somebody that I give my boards with MLCCs on them, because I'm not going to fool with the ones unless I know for sure that they're decent. So that goes there. Okay, this is another part we can go ahead and see if we can get it separated. Okay guys, we got the boards and everything out of here that's going to amount to anything. Like I said, unfortunately they spent a lot of money on screws, and nothing, virtually nothing on their board or their software. We got another connector here that's doing something. I actually have another screw. So they didn't spare any expense when it came to screws. A lot of junk plastic and a lot of screws. This, I believe, is probably either the microphone, and what do you know? There actually is, no, it might be the lens. There actually is gold. This connector is actually gold plated. So we will pull that off. So there's our first bit of gold. Go ahead and put it on our tray. And then this, I'm going to open that up because sometimes there's a little chip in there. In some cameras that I've taken apart, there's actually a small chip in here. And there it is. There's the lens. That's nothing. Let's see. We got a couple tiny MLCCs on there. I am not seeing. Let me get this and see if we can see any gold bond wires anywhere. Basically, I'm not seeing anything on that, so that will just go in my wire scrap. We have this switch, which I really don't know what's on it. I think there should be some silver plating, but as cheap as this thing is, who knows? This is a housing that it's in. Okay, so there's that housing. And I am going to presume, I'm not going to rip this apart, but I'm going to presume that more than likely that is silver plating in there under the switch. Let's see if we can just take this part off and see. I'm not going to go into too much detail trying to rip that out. There'd be probably just a little bit of silver plating there. This was where our battery connected, so we do have silver plate, or not silver, but gold plated connectors there. So I'm going to go ahead and take that and take that. And these are, they're real shiny gold, so we know that that's not the really good stuff, but at least it is gold plated. So we got that. This is our microphone. Sometimes the microphones are gold plated. This one I don't believe is. It looks all silver colored inside. So we're just going to cut this stuff off and throw it in our wire bucket. This is an LED underneath here, so I am going to put that in the LED bag. They made it to look like a switch, but this is going to have silver plating inside, and there will be a little fine gold bonding wire or something the size of a gold bond wire in there. So we got a little bit of gold there. We have one very small 4-sided or flat pack chip. We've got another 2-sided chip over here. Let's see if this was gold under there, if these are gold connectors. There's nothing to this. I mean, I've taken, you know, some older little cameras apart, and I mean, there's at least something in them. That is gold plated, so we will salvage that. So that little guy is gold plated. Let's see if this is gold under here. Nope, that is not. So I imagine that this is not. Nope, that goes in the wire bag. That's not gold. This actually has gold connections in it. This is the earphone thing. A lot of these do. A lot of earphone jacks have gold pins in them. So we'll just pull that off, which we've pretty much already destroyed it and got the pins out. So we'll put it here, which that's another thing. Usually on a decent board or a halfway decent board, you can just twist that whole, you know, that whole connector right off, and it'll just twist right off. Okay guys, I think we may have lost a little bit of footage. This camera cuts off automatically at 20 minutes. So I'm just going to go over what we got again, because I think it did that. So anyhow, what we got out of that camera was this board with these little switches. So there's either going to be some small silver plating in there or a small contact. This is another little like toggle switch, so that's the same. We got one LED. So that's going to have some silver plating and a gold bond wire. We have one ribbon end that was gold. I think one tantalum there, a small tantalum. And we got these little, they're not high quality gold plating. They look it because they're all shiny and bright, but normally that's even, you know, that's worse. You want your gold to be yellow looking on your plating, but you want it to be kind of a dull yellow. And then we got one four-sided chip or a small flat pack. And that is it. I was hoping to find something like these, which are little, they almost look like little processors. This is actually ceramic. This is what I've gotten out of a lot of cameras that I've done, are these little processor looking things. So I was hoping to at least get one of those out of here, and I didn't see anything like that. These have, all these dies are connected by gold bond wires on every one of these. So they're like little processors. Maybe that's what they are. But I was hoping for that, at least in this. But you can see that entire camera. There it is. That's what's in it. That's what made it tick, which is nothing, which is probably why it didn't work. So anyway, let me get this cleaned up, and we will get on to these remotes and see what we can get out of them. So we will be back at you in a sec. Okay guys, let's see if we can't find something that has maybe a hair of value to it. I know I'm just doing this because you know, it's been laying around, but again, that's that stuff from the camera, and that plating on these pins is probably really no better or no thicker than flash plating, you know, on a board. Probably the best thing in this entire camera is that, and there's barely anything there. So this camera was as worthless to scrap as it was to try and use. So anyhow, let's get into this booger here, see if there's anything worthwhile in here. Back in the day, some of the remotes you used to get were, you know, had silver in them, at least a little bit of silver. But odds have it, looking at this, I'm going to try and stay off the desk because I've got a different camera angle so you can be a little closer. But these are probably graphite boards in here now. So I'm going to just go ahead and start ripping this thing apart, and we'll see what's in it. Okay guys, so what we have here is basically, again, a bunch of plastic. Worthless. This is just the rubber. I was kind of hoping for a Mylar, but this is a newer, you know, it's a newer remote, so no Mylar. This board, this is graphite, basically worthless. So what we have is we've got a couple of little chips. We've got some scrap metal where the batteries go. We've got a little switch down here. Another one of those little 3 three-legged transistors. One of those, I'm going to start calling them drop chips, because it's just a little drop of whatever that is covering those bond wires. We've got another little goober here and a couple of LEDs. So we've got a little tiny bit of gold. Really only one chip and this chip. So I'm just going to go ahead, and we've got one here, little 8-legger here. So I'm going to just go ahead and cut this stuff off, strip this board out, and then we'll move to the next one. Alrighty, another pretty much waste of time scrapping. As you can see by that time lapse, it took me virtually almost no time to get anything that was even worth getting off of this board. What we got out of this remote was 2 little 8-sided IC chips. We got 1 little crystal. We've got 1 little switch, which is probably silver plate, not even silver contact, a little transistor or whatever that goober is that may have silver in it. We've got 2 more little LEDs. Guess I should be doing that with my right hand. 2 LEDs, and then 1 of those drop chips that they have gold bond wires under them. So once again, there's the scrap board. It does have MLCCs on it. I'm going to go ahead and throw it in that little bucket that I keep for that person that I saved this stuff for. And that's it. Just basically a lot of junk plastic. So that is that one. So far we got 2 strikes against us. Again, better to sell that as it is intact, to some place that you can sell your electronic scrap. If you have some place that you can do that, you're better off, because even though it only took me a minute or 2 to do that, it really wasn't worth doing. Alright, let's move on to these. I'm hoping one of these will at least have a Mylar in it, but you never know. Let's see if there's a battery in this. There is. Go ahead and check it real quick and see if it's any good. And it is a good one. So we will put that in our good bag. That's, believe it or not, that's probably going to be worth more than all this stuff. These little guys are like $3 and $4, $5 a piece now, or 2 for $6 or something for these. So I have a ton of them that are actually good. Here's a bunch of these are all bad or dead, but I've got two or three nickel tubes full of good, of good little lithium batteries. So I mean that's worth a lot. I don't need for any of my lasers or anything like that. I don't ever have to buy lithium batteries again unless they're not the right size. So anyway, let's get into this bad boy, see what we can get out of it. Again, we're going to have a lot of plastic. So let's just get going. Alright guys, a very pleasant surprise when I popped that open. This is gold plating. This board appears to have about as equally good a plating as like a cell phone board. Not a lot of stuff on it. One little LED, which we will cut off. We got another, basically nothing, aluminum piece. A little spring probably where the battery part goes. So we can just take that off and throw it in our steel bucket. Not sure what this is. I will have to look it up, but I will hang on to it and then we've got another little drop chip right there, but I'm not going to bother with cutting that off because this will just get processed as the whole board. I'm going to look in here and see if the trace on this is gold. It looks like it is. So it looks like all of this all of the under the masking here, all of these, that's all gold plated. So this is actually a pretty good board. It's a fairly decent little board. Like I said, I was pleasantly surprised when I popped it off and saw that it was gold underneath that, instead of like what I just tossed out a second ago, the carbon. Because most of the remotes, this must be a little bit older, because most of the remotes today are carbon. But so that's good. So we did end up with a nice little board out of that. This, which I have to look up and see what it is, and an LED. So we got a little bit of silver and a little bit of gold there. So I'm actually pleased with this one. So I guess with your remotes, you just have to kind of open them up and see what's there. So let's get to this last one and wrap this video up. Alrighty, let's clean this stuff up, get it tossed, and see what's in this little HP motor. Now this remote, I'm guessing, probably should be pretty good. I mean, it was made by HP. I already see gold right here where the battery goes. Gold plating. So, or is that silver? Nope, that's actually tarnished silver plating. It's a little thing that's connected to the board. But that is silver plated. So, this thing right here. So let's see if we can find a seam on this thing and bust it open and see what's in there. Okay guys, we've got on this board, this and this is silver plated. It is a silver plated metal, so I'm going to scrape them off. Got a little 8-legged chip here, or not an 8-legged chip, but a little multi-leg IC chip. Got another one of these in white instead of yellow, so I'll throw that in there. This little guy actually has a plus above it, so I don't know if that's tantalum or not. It doesn't have a plus actually on the, the little chip itself. So I'll throw that in with my other black guys that I'm not sure about. Like I said earlier, or I actually said this in the first video, if anybody knows about these, or if they have any kind of precious metal content in them, I've been saving them. I don't take them all the time, but I've been saving them periodically if there's a lot of them. Just one day I'm going to see what's in them. So I'm going to go ahead and just peel this stuff off. I'll throw that in my scrap silver plate, because that's what it is. And that's it. That board has 1 MLCC on it here, so I'll throw it over there, and that's the trash from it. So basically, what I've determined out of the remotes is, I guess you just kind of have to open them. That's all we got out of that one. We got these two little pieces of silver plate, this little black guy that I don't know if it is tantalum or not. We got one chip. We have this thing, which I'm not sure what it is, and then one LED. So that was nothing. So the big one and the little one had nothing in them. The only one that had anything in it was the DVD one, and it actually has this fairly decent plated board and this other stuff. So guys, I'm probably going to do a couple more scrapping videos before we actually get back outside. Well, you know what? We can hang on for just a second. I wanted to do this. So let me not wrap this up. Let me make this one a second or two longer. And let's go ahead. This is that wireless, like the little. Let me get one and show you. This is the old kind of wireless card, or USB card that you plug in. There's a new one. So here's an old one. And there's a new one. That's it. That's all you need to go wireless right now. Before, you needed one of these. This is back in my day. You needed these with a little antenna on it. So let's bust this booger open real quick, see what's in it. This one works, or we do that, but I know the only thing that's in this one is the, you know, the wires from the USB. So we know we got a little bit of gold here in the pins. We know we got a little bit of gold here, which a kilo of those usually doesn't make much, maybe a gram of gold. And we have a little bit of gold in here. So let's pop this off and see. Yeah, this inner pin inside of here is actually gold. So that's junk. Getting to this inner pin is another story completely. So I'm actually going to throw that in the burn bin in a minute, because that's probably going to be the only way to get to that. We can take this off, and I have a container where I keep these as well. So we'll just see what's in here. See if we can just crush this booger and get it to open. And this is probably better than the. Got some gold trace on the board. So that's a keeper. There is the rest of our, we can just put all that back together. Throw that in our container. This is better than 2 of the remotes and the camera. So this, and as easy as that was, we're done. All you basically have to do here is bust this off, pull your pins out of there. You got a little 8-legged chip here. You got a tiny little BGA there. Some MLCCs, which I'm gonna, or that's not, no, that's actually a gold crystal there. A couple MLCCs and another, looks like a BGA. So that's pretty good, considering, I mean, there's nothing to this. So there's actually more. There's one of our remotes, and this is one of our remotes, and this is that little wireless card. Okay guys, we're going to go ahead and wrap this up. Like I said, I'm going to do a couple more scrapping videos before I actually go outside. I'm feeling pretty good. I don't want to push the issue, you know, and go too fast, and I have a bad reputation for doing that. I'm impatient. I want to get to stuff and go and go and go, and this time I'm going to just kind of maybe listen and do what I'm told. So guys, everybody take care, stay safe out there, and we will see you all in the next video.